Yo, YouTube, what's going on, baby? It's your boy J October. Today's video is a little different. I wanted to talk about something major that happened in the gaming community, and that is going to be the situation revolving around Symphony and him potentially saying the N word. There's a lot of speculation around whether he did or didn't. Um, so just to provide a little bit of background on the situation, he was talking to Myth, who is a another very popular streamer who is African American, and in the clip, I mean, it sounds pretty clearly like he says the N word when speaking directly to him, and so this has become kind of a big deal and something that a lot of people have been talking about, and so I noticed a few things when seeing the community response to the situation. And so I wanted to just kind of share my thoughts on it. And I'll tell you why I wanted to share my thoughts on it in a little bit. But the first thing that I want to say is I'm going to try and be objective in the way that I approach this. I'm not even going to take a stance on whether or not I think he said the word. I have my own personal opinion on that, but I don't think that that is going to further the conversation on how situations like this should be approached. So I'm not even going to accuse anybody. I'm not going to be on the attack. I'm not going to be coming at Symphony or trying to create some sort of false narrative when he may be saying one thing and other people may think another. That's not really important. What's important is spreading awareness and spreading understanding of the situation and some of the components around it so that people can be more educated going forward. So what I want to start with is I just finished watching Swagg's video addressing the situation. And it's really frustrating that nobody else is taking the time to speak up and address the situation like Swagg did. Now, for those who don't know, I'm sure probably all of you do, Swagg is probably, between probably him and Myth, two of the largest African American streamer and content creators in the streaming world, in the gaming community. And so when this incident happened, Swagg did the right thing by addressing it. And so he got a lot of criticism and he got a lot of hate for the way that he approached it, or just the fact that he addressed it at all. Not even the way that he did, because all he did was quote tweet and then talk about it a little bit and try to, incite a conversation so that people could be educated on what's going on. But what I was really disappointed in is the rest of the gaming community, particularly the white portion of the gaming community, and the lack of response from other major content creators. Now, I want to be very, very, very clear on this next part. I don't want people to jump on Symphony and attack him. But I want people to step up and say, hey, whether he did or did not say it, saying that word is just not okay. And the thing is, that applies to anybody that's not African American. And a lot of people have a problem with that. And it's rooted in entitlement, and it's rooted in cultural appropriation, in all honesty. People want to praise black athletes, but then tell them to shut up and dribble when one of them speaks out about social injustice in our country. They're told to just be an athlete and don't focus on anything else. When Colin Kaepernick takes a knee, he's constantly made fun of and ridiculed, even though he's standing up for something that he believes is right and in reality is just right. Social justice and equality needs to happen whether you like it or not. But everybody wants to walk like us, talk like us, act like us, dress like us, copy the culture. But then when it comes to actual issues that require support from people who aren't black, it's crickets, and you don't hear anything. And I think that that's probably the most frustrating part of the situation, is the fact that in order to actually get anywhere as a society, not just gaming, not just the streaming community, but as a country and as a world, and I know that sounds dramatic, but literally as a human civilization, in order for us to get anywhere, it has to be a collective effort from all different creeds, colors, religions, sexual orientations. It doesn't matter what category you fit into. It needs to be something that's supported by more than just one fraction of the population. And I think that's what was so frustrating. Another thing that really bothered me is I saw a lot of people trying to make excuses for him. Symphony is grown. Like I don't know how old he is exactly, and I don't really care to take the time to look it up, but he's not a child. He is very capable of speaking up for himself. And so with that being said, it shouldn't take you 12 hours to come up with a response to the situation. It clearly sounds like you said it. So if that's a mistake, and it was just a mashup of words that you were unable to control, and it came out as something that sounds like it's just a bunch of excuses. But if that's true, if that's really how it happened, then you should be putting that out immediately. Guys, hey, I'm really sorry. It sounds like I said this, but I promise you that's not what I said. I jammed two words together and it came out sounding like that. I'm really sorry. There's probably not going to be many people who believe you, because everybody's allowed to have their own opinion on the situation, but you should have came up with something a lot quicker than 12 hours later. And other streamers, there are certain people who I know have strong moral character just from them having to deal with situations like this in the past, like Nick Merckx and Ninja and some of the titans in the gaming community. This was an opportunity for you to step up to the plate, even when it's not comfortable for you. Like, I'm sure you have a PR team that's like, hey, make sure you stay away from this issue. It's not going to be good for your brand if you say something. Fuck that, man. Like, that's annoying. Like, it's okay to step up and do what's right and speak on what's right. If you are in that position, you should want to take up that mantle and talk about it and say, hey, look, man, I'm not going to say Symphony said it or didn't say it. It doesn't matter. But what we know is that using that word as a non-African American with the knowledge of the background and the history of that word, it shouldn't be said. And a lot of people were using that as an excuse. Well, black people say it to each other all the time. That is literally the embodiment of white privilege. You use a word to degrade and torture our people for generations and hundreds of years. We finally get to a point where we're able to take the power back on that word, and we used it amongst each other as a term of endearment or in various situations, but that's not good enough for you. Now you want to take it back because you have to have everything. And now you want to use the word without any consequences because, well, you do it. I must be allowed to do it. No, you don't get everything. You don't get everything. And that's the part that's pissing me off. And of course, I need to make it very clear. This doesn't apply to all white people. There are plenty of white people who have respect for others and respect the fact that you don't deserve and you don't have everything. You're not entitled to have everything. It's okay if one culture has something that you can't take. It's okay. But throughout the history of the country, you've been used to taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. But now when people start having a problem with you trying to get your hands on something and take it again, now Now you want to cry about it. Now you want to moan about it. But in the reality, it's just not okay. It's just not okay. And man, it fucking makes me mad that Swagg was the only person who had the balls to fucking step up and say something about it, man. And I saw, like, in his eyes in the video, like, he was hurt. He was hurt and going through it. Now, me, I'm a nobody. Nobody knows who I am. Probably nobody will see this video, or very few people will see this video. But I can see what he was going through. And I'm biracial myself. My mom is white and my dad is black. During my childhood, people asked my mom if I was adopted because I didn't look nothing like her. That is my biological mom. And I know how that shit feels. And I know how he was hurting. And I know the type of hatred and the type of nastiness that you can experience in his position. So Swagg, if you ever happen to see this video, bro, I just want you to know that the shit that you said and the way that you displayed that emotion for people to see, I can't tell you how much that you did for the gaming community right there. Because people need to understand that these people are not just entertainers. These are real people that have lives outside the stream, outside the YouTube videos, outside the clips on Instagram and TikTok and all this other shit. And really, bro, it's a white dominated space that's hard for people of any color to break into. And when we do, this is not the type of treatment that we expect to get or we will put up with, because it's just not the case, bro. It's just not okay. It's not going to fly. And whether he said it or not, just anybody in general, that's not the way that these situations should be handled. So I don't know. It's a frustrating situation because it really exposed the nasty side of the gaming community. And anybody that's been in the gaming community for long enough knows how nasty that side of the game is. Like, if you've ever been in a Halo Xbox live chat or a Call of Duty live chat back in the day, it's nothing but racism. People love being racist behind the microphone and behind the screen because you won't get your fucking ass knocked out. Knowing damn well they would not say it in person because you would get knocked the fuck out. And it's been like that. The community they love getting off those racist remarks and those slurs where they feel safe and comfortable. And I don't know if that applies to streamers because a lot of them do a good job of making sure that they're PR appropriate or HR appropriate or whatever you want to call it. But when something like this happens, it needs to be addressed and it needs to be used as an opportunity to educate and make sure that stuff like this is minimized and reduce the amount of times that it happens in the future. So, Swagg, thank you, brother. I appreciate you speaking up on the situation. I know that you're going through some stuff as far as what people are saying to you, but there's a lot of people out there like me, nobody streamer, baby streamer, literally just started, that respects what you've done and hopes that as I grow in this community, we can continue to push it forward in a positive direction so that if I ever did get to your level of success, it becomes a space where it's comfortable for people of all ethnicities, ages, sexual orientation, gender, religion to comfortably operate and coexist. So that's my thoughts on it. I didn't want to, make this super long. I'm probably gonna have to cut a good chunk of this down, but I appreciate you guys. It's nothing but love on the J October side. I love everybody, no matter what you are or who you are. I love you. I appreciate you guys listening to my little soapbox, man. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.